In Africa, we had the most extraordinary spectre this week, where the American ambassador to South Africa publicly accused the leadership of South Africa of breaking international law. He publicly accused them of being criminals. And I got to reminiscing. I was reminiscing about the role that the United States and the United Kingdom and almost all of the countries of the European Union played in the maintenance of and then in the destruction of the apartheid system in South Africa. I just saw a post which astounded me. In 1990, after the liberation, after the release of President Mandela, regarded globally as one of the greatest men ever to walk the earth, after his release and prior to his first ever visit to the United States of America, the US government, which had him on their list of banned terrorists until 2008, wouldn't send him an airplane capable of taking him from South Africa to the United States. According to the post that I have just looked at, who do you think flew President Mandela to the United States? Donald Trump. Donald Trump sent one of the Trump Air Fleet to fly Mandela from South Africa to the United States because the United States government would not do so. I'm old enough to remember when all of the countries of Western Europe, of North America, and the United Kingdom itself stood four square with apartheid and against Mandela. Do you know who was on the side of the liberation movement all of those decades? Do you know who gave them everything they needed to liberate themselves? Russia. That's why the West is backing the apartheid state in the Eurovision Song Contest and banning the country that always struggled against apartheid.
In December last year, a Russian cargo ship, the Lady R, docked in Simonstown, which happens to be South African Navy's largest base. There were media reports that some cargo was loaded onto the ship, the contents of which remain a matter of speculation. And when pressed about the matter, the defense minister dismissed the allegations about arms transfer. And what's interesting is that the timing of the American ambassador's comments also come at a time when South Africa is preparing to host the BRICS summit. South Africa finds itself caught up in a geopolitical context. It's an important crucible for South Africa's post-apartheid foreign policy and for the Ramaphosa administration. It also leads us to just contend with the idea that South Africa is being forced to grapple with a bigger question about national interest.
South Africa has always been in the maelstrom of geopolitical complication. It's just that its stance has changed. And now that apartheid is overthrown, that South Africa is liberated, then it's only right that South Africa's role in this complicated geopolitical world is a very different one. If South Africa did supply weapons to Russia, what is wrong with that? Every country in the European Union is supplying weapons to Ukraine. Why are supplying weapons to Ukraine kosher, but supplying weapons to Russia are haram? Where does that idea come from? There are no United Nations sanctions on Russia because, of course, no such resolution could ever get through